ETFs are one of the most popular investment vehicles today, and they've been one of the most successful investment products over the last 2 to 3 decades. And so what these are really, they're called DTFs. They're basically like ETFs, but for crypto. And so,
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wagmi TV. We have a special one for you today. We're doing a new project deep dive. We're talking Reserve Protocol and the new index protocol product that they have launched. We're going to do a deep dive into that, learn all about it, and get you guys updated on what's to come and what it's all about. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Soham. And remember, this is not financial advice. We just want to get you guys updated on new and current crypto projects and deep dives. So I'm going to pass it over to him, and we'll talk through a few things.
absolutely. Thanks for the intro, Sia. I mean, guys, in a world where it just feels like everyone is launching the seventh derivative of the 12th Trump family member token, and just there's absolutely just ridiculous tokens coming out every day, it is refreshing to see kind of a new and interesting and innovative new product being launched here in the market. And so we're going to be talking about Reserve Protocol today. You know, we've done some episodes with them about them in the past. We've also covered some of their pools on Aerodrome and Morpho. So you guys will probably be familiar with them, at least at arm's length, from some of our other videos. But what's really cool is they just launched a new product. It is called the DTF protocol. What that is it's essentially a index protocol. Here, let me pull it up here. Boom. So if you remember, Reserve always kind of did these index products. And so you could basically get a basket of different assets and get exposure to a bunch of different opportunities just by holding one token. If you guys remember, like the earlier products was more on the yield side. So ETH plus, USD3, these are assets that we've covered in the context of Aerodrome and Morpho in terms of like different ways to earn yield, as well as based ETH and some of these other assets. The new product is actually focused on token index products. And so if you think about traditional finance, right, ETFs are one of the most popular investment vehicles today, and they've been one of the most successful investment products over the last 2 to 3 decades. And so what these are really, they're called DTFs. They're basically like ETFs, but for crypto. And so really cool stuff here. Basically, you can come down, you can explore the different indexes that are live on the platform, and you can click into some of these and you can explore kind of what the basket exposure, similar to an ETF, right? You get basket exposure. Basically, you hold one asset and you get a bunch of different, stocks or bonds or whatever. And here you get exposure to a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. So this one, for example, is the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index. And you can come down and you can see the basket exposure that you get completely diversified across a bunch of different kind of altcoins and tokens, as well as obviously Bitcoin. And so it's a really cool platform. You know, it's also really promising that it looks like they've launched with some really kind of big names here, right? Bloomberg obviously is a huge partner. Virtuals, obviously, you guys know Virtuals from our previous videos. The Virtuals team has launched an index on the platform, so you can get diversified exposure to the whole Virtuals ecosystem that we've kind of touched on some of our videos. Coming back here, right? CoinDesk Indices, another huge kind of traditional finance index provider, as well as some other ones like Market Vector. This one actually is one of the largest indexes in, I think, maybe in crypto period, right? 25 assets. And so all of a sudden, this is live on Base, so gas fees are super cheap. And all of a sudden, if you're wondering, how can I, you might be getting questions from your family. Oh, how do I get into crypto? Or like, what's like the best thing to buy? This all of a sudden becomes a really easy thing to tell, some friends about in terms of if they're just getting involved in the cryptocurrency space. And yeah, there's a bunch of different ones. I'll kind of leave it there. Kind of want to get your guys' thoughts, but that's an overview of the platform right now.
I, I think this is super cool, and I think this is something that's been needed in the crypto space for a very long time. This is absolutely addressing a huge problem because I think one of the big problems I have, I'm sure a lot of other people do as well, is you'll be invested in let's say 10 to 15 different tokens. And it'll really take a lot of effort and time to be able to actively manage those, make sure you're putting money into the right positions, and maybe you might miss a top that you wanted to sell, and because of that, you missed your chance of getting out. I think this is really something that is going to grow in the next couple of years. I think a quick question I have for you, Zoe,
Mm-hmm.
is with these baskets, are they actively managed? Sometimes in ETFs, we'll see people swap out stocks for different companies.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something where they're being actively managed?
Yeah, it's a good question. It varies really from index to index. So if we go, you guys, we've obviously been through the Morpho platform here on this channel before. If you guys don't know how that works with the curators and everything, make sure to go check out our video there. But it works in a similar capacity where here Re7 Labs, which is basically an on-chain asset manager, is the one who's quote unquote curating the basket. Now, in this particular case, Bloomberg is actually the one publishing the index. So on a monthly basis, they rebalance the index and publish the new weights and everything. And then Re7 Labs, who's the curator, comes in and actually rebalances the index to make sure that it's tracking the index itself. Now, an example like virtuals here, the curator is also Re7, but the creator is Virtuals protocol, right? And so all of these have like different creators and curators that you can go and kind of check out. For example, this one, Alpha Base Index, there's a kind of like investment community called the Altcoinist. And so you can go follow them on Twitter and stuff, and like they have their own picks and stuff. So they're the ones who are actually curating this basket. So this one is kind of like actively managed by the altcoinist community and stuff like that. So yeah, so generally it's a very flexible platform, and you can kind of go in and explore and look for exactly what you want in terms of more, I guess, like professional rules based like index creation versus like more kind of altcoin picking and things like that.
Is it easiest to buy this stuff straight through the reserve site, or is it on Aerodrome? Like, how do you get access to this stuff?
Yeah, so there are secondary markets for this stuff, so you can trade them. The easiest way is definitely to come to Reserve and like come just connect your wallet on Base and like go in here, hit buy, and then you'll be able to buy with ETH, wrapped ETH, or USDC, and you can easily just swap in like that. And then similarly, you can also sell just by doing the same thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then how is it? I'm just first of all, this is really really cool. Like I feel like it's to your point, it serves as a great on ramp to people who are a little bit overwhelmed by hearing, oh, this token just exploded, or I need to monitor this, I need to monitor that. This is a great way to bet on sectors of the market, right? If
Hmm.
you just want to bet on AI agents, I'll buy the virtuals index, right? Or if you want to
Hmm.
bet on DeFi, let's buy Coinbase DeFi Select. So I love that.
Hmm.
How are these? I mean, there's a ton. Like, how are they actually being like approved by Reserve, and like who can actually? So is it basically open source where I could say, oh, I'm going to build a basket and I'm going to throw it up there, and obviously it's up to me to drive traffic to it, but
Hmm.
anyone could technically buy it if they do know about it. Is that how it
Yeah,
would work?
no, that's a really good question. So for the launch, just to like make sure everything ran smoothly for the most part, it was a select group of tokens, but soon you're going to be able to create your own. And so you can see here on create your own, like this is going to open up shortly, where you're completely right. Like anybody will be able to come over here, use the platform, create their own index. And so when this does drop, that could be another video that we do in the future, in terms of like showing people how that works, and maybe creating our own Wagmi index. Who knows?
I think
That'd
that
be
could be in the
sweet.
cards. I like that. I mean, talking about indexes, what are some of your favorites that you're seeing right now? Are there any ones catching your eyes?
I mean, look, it kind of depends what you like, right? Like for like broad market exposure, I mean, like the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index, you've got like a lot of kind of like it's 12 assets, so it's not like super diversified, but like you get exposure to a ton of the top altcoins, like broad market type stuff. For like DeFi specific, right? You've got the CoinDesk DeFi Select Index that's like more like DeFi focused. Obviously, if we went through the Virtuals Index. And then, there's like also like sector style, like narrative type tokens, like this one called the AI Index. This one is curated by ClearStar Labs. This one is basically like just a bunch of like handpicked, AI agents and stuff like that. So I'm really interested to kind of see, obviously you've seen RWA on here. Like there's a lot of, I anticipate a lot of broad market exposure indices, but also like sector specific ones I really like the AI one, the RWA one, DeFi one. Those are the ones I think like really stand out to me personally.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
What about
you
you guys? What are your favorites?
Um, I mean, I haven't done too much looking on this, but I feel like one of the biggest dilemmas I have, and maybe other people have this problem, is how much exposure do I want outside of Bitcoin? So, to me, it's really interesting to have a global crypto index where it's weighted, a decent chunk into Bitcoin, but then I get exposure to some of the other heavyweights in the altcoin space. So I think that's really interesting to me. My other question though that goes on this is like typically with an ETF, you're going to have an expense ratio.
Hmm.
Typically it's like, it's really cheap, quarter of a bip or something like that.
Hmm.
But how does that work here? Like do the curators get a fee?
Yep.
How's that work?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a TVL fee that's transparently available on every single one of these. So curators have chose to set it at different levels. Like virtuals is 1%, the other one was 2%. Some other folks have set other, this one's 0.25%. So there's a variety of different, fees. The good thing is like it just kind of goes hand in hand with what we've been saying about the platform, which is like it's completely customizable, and that kind of what makes it super flexible. And everything, all the fees and everything are just transparently available for the users to kind of evaluate for themselves.
I think two quick things. One, this is available on base, so that's awesome. I love that. Being able to easily get into this stuff, cheap fees, that's awesome. I also think baskets surrounding low cap tokens that are in certain narratives would be very interesting.
Hmm.
Something that I think we were looking at before, really the most recent altcoin pump that we saw over the last few months was these AI tokens, really AI platforms that hadn't popped yet. And there was a few of them. It was virtuals. I think we saw Spectral. I think there were a couple others that we were keeping our eyes on. But it's
Hmm.
difficult to be able to pick the right one,
Yep.
And so just being able to invest in a basket that is capturing all those, you really have a lot of exposure to upside without having to actively manage those positions. So I think that's super cool. I think it alleviates a lot of the work that goes into kind of the altcoin hunting that you need to do.
100%, 100%. And I think like once the platform becomes permissionless and anybody can come on and create their own index, I think we're going to see a lot of that. So, um, maybe an episode for another day.
Yeah, I think that's really cool too because it's kind of a twofold benefit. You can create your own basket that you'd want to buy anyway, and then if people find it really valuable, you get to earn a little bit of a fee on the side. So I think that's really really cool. I love the idea. I love what Reserve's doing, and it's gonna be cool to see this kind of mature. And then obviously once it becomes permissionless, seeing kind of the next evolution of that. Um, but I think that's everything today, guys. We really appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and then let us know what you think about this. Like, is this something that you would participate in? Like, is this something you've been looking for? Is there anything that catches your eye? But it'd be really cool to hear from you guys, see what you think. Again, not financial advice. We're just trying to get you the most up to date stuff here and keep you guys informed. But until next week, Wagmi.